Hello there. My name is Dr. Michael Harris. This is the Fruits of Virtue podcast. It's based on my book, The Fruits of Virtue, which is about 12 key virtues. And that if you live by these things, you will have a happy, more prosperous life. I do believe that. I was a therapist for 32 years. Today I want to talk to you about what is psychotherapy and will it work? Psychotherapy is a relationship with a trained mental health provider like a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a licensed clinical social worker, a licensed professional counselor. You go in to see them to see if they can help you identify what your issues are and how to resolve them. They are there to help you resolve troubling issues that affect your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. Sometimes the issues we identify and present to the therapist are not the ones we end up working on, which is interesting. I want to address 4 reasons why psychotherapy might work for you, but first tell you why we might profit from talking to someone on the outside, a trained mental health professional. Mental illness is on the rise in a world in which we all feel more connected. We have our cell phones, we have the internet, and yet we've become pretty disconnected, haven't we? Because we communicate without real, face-to-face, intimate communication. Even now, many people do therapy remotely. New York Times columnist David Brooks says we're living in an increasingly disconnected and lonely society, with rising depression and rising suicide. People actually create love to be known and to be cared for. Good psychotherapy is actually the antidote to disconnection, alienation, loneliness, and fear. Now, the 4 things that will make psychotherapy helpful to you. Number 1, can you stay a while? There's a saying in sales, those who stick around get paid. That also applies to psychotherapy. Though a few sessions can be helpful, the deeper personal issues require contemplation and self-discovery. Chewing on issues, letting them reverberate in the mind. Psychotherapy is a relationship, and relationships take time. I can't tell you how many times I heard a person say to me, or a client's boyfriend or husband, "I'll go just once. That's all I'm willing to do," as if that's going to really make a difference. Therapy can be expensive. Nationally, the average runs about $100 to $150 an hour, but with good insurance, your copayment could be pretty low. Number 2, can you be open and honest? Most people who go to therapy get pretty good at opening up. Because with trust and empathy and a certain amount of unconditional acceptance that we feel, our armor will begin to crack and we'll begin to open up and share even more. Unconditional acceptance doesn't mean the therapist won't call you on it. If you're doing something harmful or hurtful to yourself or others, they'll address that with you. But though being truthful can be hard, it can be very rewarding. How many of us have trusted another human being and revealed the good, the bad, and ugly about ourselves? Doing so, that process, is the process of becoming fully human, and it is very empowering. Number 3, will you take feedback from another person? Sometimes when we feel fragile or afraid or vulnerable, we don't want to open up, even though we really need to. Our ego wants to protect us. No one wants to feel small or ridiculed in the sharing, in the back and forth, in the give and take with the therapist. We don't want to be told or labeled that we're mentally ill, and maybe for men more so. I've had many female clients who said their husbands or partners say to them, "Why would I spend money to go in and have someone tell me about my problems?" The point is, the therapist is not going to tell you that you're mentally ill. They're there to help you and to work with you. However, we're all on the spectrum of some kind of mental illness. What the therapist does with you is to have a series of discussions that are progressive in nature to help you gain insight so that you can be in charge of fixing the problems. It's rarely about pointing fingers. Therapy is collaborative, it's partnering, it's trusting, it's about an evolution. We're all a work in progress. Number 4, are you motivated? really motivated to change? You're tired of suffering and being in pain, not seeing the options to get out of your mess. Perhaps this is the biggest factor for internal growth and change. Sometimes you'll have to try some different therapists before you find a good fit with the one that you trust and you feel you can open up to. Motivation and desire is really the essence in all things, isn't it? In order for us to get better or overcome problems or improve. The therapist can assist you, but it's really that motivation deep inside of you that's going to bring about real and lasting change. As you come to feel better emotionally, have clearer, more optimistic thoughts, and make better choices, that's when you know therapy is really working. Tony Robbins said it's the unlimited power to care and to love that makes the difference in the quality of your life. Psychotherapy is the formulation or restoration of your power to care and love for yourself. I don't think there's a price tag on that, because with healthy self-love, your world will become unlimited. Finally, having a lifeline with a trained, thoughtful, caring person can inspire, provoke, and encourage us. It's hard to fulfill our potential alone. I was a therapist, and I've used therapy a number of times for my own profit and well-being. I suggest you consider seeing a therapist yourself. I wish you all the best.